Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj was walking towards us slowly. We were walking in one direction, Maharaj was coming. So I remember, the moment I remember you, that it's so we are very grateful that you have come here to enlighten us.
It's been a very long time. Prabhu has asked me to speak on Srila Prabhupada's example and how we can learn life management and leadership lessons from it. Am I right? Okay. How long? How many of you have been in Krishna consciousness for less than 6 months?
Less
Most of you. Okay. All right. So you know who Prabhupada is. Hindi better, English better? English. Hindi, English. English how many? Acha, okay, good. My Hindi is laughable. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada, although I have not seen him, I have received a nice blessing from one of my favorite sannyasis in ISKCON, His Holiness Badrinaran Maharaj. So one time I was driving Badrinaran Maharaj to his room, and I told him, like, because anytime I get in the car with him, he starts talking about Prabhupada stories. And he's so animated and he's so excited to talk about Prabhupada. So I was telling him, Maharaj, you're very fortunate that you got to see Prabhupada face to face. You got Prabhupada's experience. He's like, do you know who Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is? I said, yes. Do you know who he is? He wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And at that time I didn't know. He said, did you know that he didn't ever see Lord Chaitanya face to face? I said, no, I didn't know that. He's like, yeah. And he is the authorized writer of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the authorized book on Lord Chaitanya's life. And he never saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu face to face. His resources came from the diary of Swarup Damodar and other personalities who were there during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. And not only that, when he was asked to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita and he was feeling not qualified, Lord Chaitanya personally appeared to him in his dream and told him, you should write this. You're empowered, you should write it. And he wrote it. And he wrote it with so much realization that even those who saw Lord Chaitanya didn't have so much realization as Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So he blessed me. He said, so I have seen Srila Prabhupada face to face, but you're the next generation. But by the hearing process, you can perceive Srila Prabhupada even more than those who saw him face to face. So I pass on the same blessings to all of you, that hopefully through the hearing process, you get to perceive Srila Prabhupada, as much or more than those who saw Srila Prabhupada face to face. So I'll start with a few stories. The first story, the first theme is confidence in Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, at least to me, embodies confidence in Krishna. Why? How? So when ISKCON 50 happened at Netaji Indoor Stadium in Kolkata, Prabhupada's son was giving the lecture, one of the lectures. And he said, all of you think Prabhupada went to America with 40 rupees in his pocket. He didn't. He gave that 40 rupees to me when he got on the Jaladuta. I drove my father in a taxi to the Jaladuta, and when he got on the Jaladuta, he said, on the other side of Atlantic Ocean, this 40 rupees won't mean anything. As a father, I have not done much for you. Here is the 40 rupees. This is the least I can do for you. So Prabhupada went to America penniless. Imagine going to a country. Today we have internet. We know what America is like, what New York is like, what temperature is there. We can just go to weather.com and find out. Prabhupada had no idea what snow is, what cold weather is, nothing. And he went to America penniless. No money. Bhagavatam, bag of cereals, and his old health, body that was feeble. In fact, Prabhupada got 2 heart attacks. You heard about Prabhupada's story? He got 2 heart attacks in the ship, and third attack he was sure he's going to leave his body. And Krishna personally came and put his hand on his chest and said, it's okay, everything is taken care of. All you got to do is just reach there and translate the books. And Prabhupada did exactly that. And he struggled, and he struggled, and he struggled. Right? When Prabhupada first time Bhagavad Gita was going to be printed, Brahmananda Prabhu, who at that time was Brahmananda Maharaj, he tried many times to get the books published, Bhagavad Gita, by the biggest publishers possible. Nobody would print it. One day Srila Prabhupada told him, go to Macmillan and get them to print this. He said, Prabhupada, even small publishers are not willing to publish it. What to speak of Macmillan? And Prabhupada said, just do it. And Prabhupada was very grave. He was not in a negotiating mood. He was like, just do it, because your guru is telling you to do it. Like, okay. So he went to Macmillan. He knew only the accountants there. The accountant is not a decision maker. But still, Prabhupada said it, so I'll go. So he went. Talked to the accountant. And the accountant said, oh, here is the guy who does all the publishing and all. Talk to him, he's walking by. And Brahmananda Prabhu jumped at that person and said, hey, we have a Swami from India who has a manuscript of Bhagavad Gita, very authorized version. Would you like to print it? He said, oh my God, where were you all these days? We were looking for authorized Bhagavad Gita. We have printed all the scriptures of different religions, but not the Bhagavad Gita. And we were looking for it. And he's like, oh, I have the manuscript. He's like, perfect, done. He's like, don't you want to read through it or meet Swamiji or something of that? Like, no. This is good enough. We will print it. And Brahmananda Prabhu was shocked. Whoa, how did that happen? And he came surprised, he came to Prabhupada. He thought Prabhupada would be jumping in joy. He said, Prabhupada, you won't believe what happened. Macmillan is going to print your Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said, And Brahmananda Prabhu's realization was that Prabhupada already knew. And he was sharing in Prabhupada Memories in this DVD that his realization was Krishna was sitting next to Prabhupada and dictating him what to tell Brahmananda Prabhu when he was going. Prabhupada would pause here, tell Brahmananda Prabhu, you say this, you do this, and he would do that, and he came back. So Prabhupada already knew Krishna has spoken, so it would be done. So when he said, Macmillan is going to print your Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada was like, right? So thereafter, another incident with Brahmananda Prabhu. Now I'm going to talk about Prabhupada's ability. Should I say it this way? I'm an entrepreneur, so don't mind me saying this. Prabhupada's business mindset. It's very important. I'll say entrepreneurial mindset. You know what entrepreneurial mindset is? Jugaru. ऐसे नहीं होता तो ऐसे करेंगे. We'll figure out a way to make it happen. That's Prabhupada's mindset. Electricity bill. Prabhupada said, we are doing the highest service possible. We should not pay electricity bill. He sent the devotees to electricity offices, like, tell them, we're doing the highest service to mankind. We should not have to pay electricity bill. They said, Prabhupada doesn't work like that in America. Nobody cares what we're doing. Prabhupada said, just do it. They came back empty-handed. Prabhupada said, you guys are not experts. I'll go. Prabhupada personally went and he convinced them somehow that they don't have to pay electricity bill. And he came back like, I'm a Calcutta boy. Another day, Srila Prabhupada went to the kitchen, and this time it was 26 2nd Avenue. You guys are very fortunate to have such a big building to yourself, all glories to your service. 26 2nd Avenue, anybody been to New York? 26 2nd Avenue is half of this, half of this width, and I think the depth is almost this much length, but half of the size. It's a storefront, it's dingy. And Prabhupada from there was thinking to start the worldwide movement of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Even when he was incorporating ISKCON, his disciples were laughing at him. Like, Prabhupada, International Society, just one storefront, it will be international. Every town and village. Anyway, so one day Srila Prabhupada came to the kitchen and he was looking and was like, how much rice do we have? He said, Prabhupada, we have 20 pounds of rice. Like, how much dal do we have? 20 pounds of dal. Okay. How much vegetables do you have? We have vegetables for around 10-15 people. Prabhupada said, okay, very good. He said, make a big feast tonight. Okay. And he told Brahmananda Prabhu, how much money do we have? He said, Prabhupada, we have around $100, which is like 7,000 rupees nowadays. That time it was much less. So he said, $100, okay. Get a big sign, with changeable text. So, you have these texts where you put the letters and you make a signboard. Prabhupada said, bring that. He said, that's very expensive, Prabhupada. It's $50. He said, just do it. Your guru is telling you to do it. So he went, he's like, Prabhupada, we don't have money for rent. We have to save money for rent. Prabhupada said, just do it. Your guru is asking you to do it. So Brahmananda Prabhu said, okay, fine. Guru is asking, so I'll do it. So he would always be pushed to go beyond logic. That was Brahmananda Prabhu's realization. So Prabhupada asked him, so he went and got this black little board. You can still see it when you type 22nd Avenue. And there's white text, letters you can put on that board. Prabhupada said, write there, Sunday love feast. Everyone welcome. And he wrote that, he put that there. He said, nobody will come. And as soon as 6 o'clock, happened, people started walking in. Hippies, young people, old people, just walking in. The whole room was filled with people. And Prabhupada was giving the lecture. He's like, You are Americans think you're very rich. Look at us. From $100, $50 gone already. Only $50 left. He said, look at us. How Krishna is taking care of us. Does any of you have 20 pounds of rice in your kitchen? You don't, we do. Any of you have 20 pounds of dal in your kitchen? You don't, we do. Krishna is taking care of us. Not only are we taking care of ourselves, but we are also going to feed you tonight for free. Look how kind is Krishna. And everybody was well fed and they were like, wow, this is amazing. And by the time Sunday feast were over, the donation box was full. There was enough money for paying the rent, for everything else. And from there, the Sunday love feast started in the entire world of ISKCON, and it still continues. It is here happening? Yeah. Continuing from there. So that was Prabhupada's mindset. We are in the survival mindset, being in middle class families and all. Sometimes we are in the mindset कि मेरे से नहीं होगा, जितना हो सकता है कर लेते, but shouldn't think like Ambani, Tata, Birla. They are born in different families. Prabhupada went with zero money to America, literally. And when he was leaving his body, he had $400 million worth of temples in 108 countries, 10,000 disciples, hundreds of books, 70 plus books translated, and I think thousands of books were distributed. And today, after 50 plus years of Srila Prabhupada's passing, there are 500 million books of Srila Prabhupada that are in circulation today. More than 500 million books, 600 temples, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. So that's the entrepreneurial mindset. Now I'll talk about Prabhupada's relatability. How many of you want to be a preacher someday? Share Krishna consciousness and be dare to preach. You are already preaching. Okay, some of you have that interest. You're a digital marketer. So Prabhupada was very much into relatability. One time, this race car driver was brought in to meet Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada and this race car driver spoke for 2 hours, and Prabhupada talked about engines, cars, sports, everything that has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness apparently. And the last 10 minutes, Prabhupada gave some diet philosophy. And this person got up, and as he was leaving, he's like, wow, I've never met a holy person who knows so much about race cars. I would love to meet him again. And sometimes in preaching, that's all we need. We don't have to download the entire Mahatattva. Garvadakshay Vishnu Karnadakshay. I should do that. Christians would attack me a lot of times in America. And they would talk about creation. I would give them the whole shebang. They would be like, what was that? And I would feel very good about myself. But Prabhupada didn't do that. Prabhupada would be very like, if you can handle this much, he would give you this much. And keep you coming for more. Right? That's marketing. That you give people exactly how much they need. He was in Sweden once, and there was a Mayavadi person who wrote a book on Krishna. And Prabhupada, his disciples were like, demon, Mayavadi. Prabhupada's going to let him have it. And they were waiting for Prabhupada to unleash his anger on this particular devotee. But Prabhupada asked him like, you've written this book. So, what is in your book? And he kept on saying, Krishna has done this, Krishna has done that. You don't talk about this, but I talk about this. He was criticizing Prabhupada. But Prabhupada kept on asking him the various things, and he kept on answering different things. And Prabhupada's goal later on, all the devotees came, Prabhupada, isn't he a demon? He's like, no. He has written the word Krishna so many times in his book. So, he's Mayavadi, that's okay. And he said, Prabhupada, but he was saying such things to you, why didn't you say something back? He said, I wanted him to say the word Krishna as many times as possible. So Prabhupada kept on asking questions that makes him say Krishna as many times as possible. Then right after this, big guy, written books, knows it all, walks away, another person comes in. It's a very simple Swedish person, not a devotee. He just comes and says, Swamiji, you have come to my country. I just wanted to thank you very much that such a great person like you have come. That's all I wanted to say. Prabhupada said, that's very kind of you. He said, bring the harmonium. And Prabhupada started singing, Hari Hari Vipale Janama Goainu. And he sang the whole song. And he said, that is my way of thanking you. So Prabhupada personally sang up his favorite bhajan, Hari Hari Vipale, for this person. Person didn't understand, but he appreciated the gesture, that it was a personal expression of gratitude. And both of them offered their respects and walked away. When Prabhupada met Ambarish Prabhu, you know Ambarish Prabhu? Ford Motor Company's one of the owners. He said, "So, you're a great grandson of Henry Ford?" "Yes, Prabhupada." "Where is he now?" That's the first question. Where is he now? And Ambarish Prabhu was like, nobody asked me that. Right? And that's when he got him started. Another example of Srila Prabhupada, he was in France. And he was in a morning walk. And there used to be this guy named Crazy Peter. He was literally crazy. His hair was crazy. He was drug addicted. He couldn't talk. He was so drug addicted. He would speak like, oh, anything you say, oh, that's how he would speak. And Prabhupada was walking. He was hiding in the bush. He would sleep outside. He was homeless, drug addicted. He saw Prabhupada and he jumped out of the bush and fell at Prabhupada's feet. And devotees were trying to drag him away. Prabhupada said, hold on. And Prabhupada put his hand on his head. And he said, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Right? And Prabhupada kept walking. By the time they came back to the temple, I don't know if it was a Paris temple or some other temple, but in France it was. There was a little crack in the door. And Crazy Peter was actually inside the temple. And these devotees were like, what is he doing inside? He's dirty. He's not showered for so many weeks probably. Disheveled. Go away. And again he fell at Prabhupada's feet. And Prabhupada said, it's okay. It's okay. Let him stay. Shave him up. Cleaning up. Give him some service. Let him stay. And Crazy Peter was allowed to stay. They took him upstairs, cleaned him up, gave him a bath, cut his hair. And Crazy Peter was doing some services of cleaning the temple and washing the pots, and very nicely he was serving. But every day you would see that the brahmacharis would go for book distribution. And he wanted to also do that book distribution. You know the story? Anybody know the story? No? So he was doing book distribution. He wanted to do book distribution because he was like, okay, I'm cleaning pots and washing dishes and cleaning the floor, but I also want to go like them. So as the devotees were leaving one morning, he said, I want to do book distribution. They said, you can hardly speak. He's like, I want to do it. He said, okay, fine, come with us. So the brahmacharis took him with him. And so the process was, they would drive in a little minivan to a parking lot. Then they would open up prasadam, have breakfast. Then they would go for book distribution. So the brahmacharis opened up their, prasadam containers. And Crazy Peter took a bag of books and ran away. Nobody noticed. And then they're done with breakfast. Everybody's like, okay, let's go. It's like, oh, where is Crazy Peter? He's like, where are the books? And somebody's like, oh, look at that. There is Crazy Peter. So he skipped breakfast. He went directly into book distribution. He's like, what is he doing? Oh my God, he's going to create such a ruckus. And then he came back. And there were no books in his bag. He's like, what did you do with the books? Crazy Peter is like, I sold them. He's like, what nonsense are you speaking? You can hardly talk. What do you mean he sold books? And he showed the donations. He's like, how did he do that? He said, I just told them. Prabhupada, he saved me. He'll save you too. Prabhupada, he saved me. He'll save you too. Prabhupada, he saved me. He'll save. And he was so genuine. People actually believed him. And they took the books and gave donation in return. He could hardly speak. But his gratitude to Srila Prabhupada was so strong that just by his purity of gratitude, he was able to sell all the books by the time the devotees finished their breakfast. 20 years later, Indra Maharaj, who was at that time in France, he remembered this incident. He was in New York. And I think it was New York, where he saw this particular devotee and he recognized him. I think he was leading the kirtan or something. He's like, isn't that Crazy Peter? It's like, he's a devotee? So he asked, who is he? And I think his name, I can't remember his name. You can find online. Starts with S something. Anyway, Kushakrita Prabhu? Maybe. I don't remember his name, but he had an initiated name. He was not only a devotee, but he was a scholar. And he translated Srila Prabhupada's books into multiple languages. And he was preaching all over the world. So Indra Maharaj came in contact and was like, wow, All glories to Prabhupada. Just Prabhupada's hand on his head, a little encouragement, let him stay in the temple. Cleaning up, give him some service. And that transformed the heart of this devotee. And he became a worldwide preacher. Right? So we all have hope. And that's the glory of Srila Prabhupada. How he could see potential in everyone. How he would relate to everyone in their own way. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam prapadyante samsataiva bhajamyaham. To the degree you surrender unto me, to that degree I reciprocate with you. Right? So Prabhupada would always do that. He would see how they're reacting, how they're coming. Even Radhanath Maharaj, right? We know Journey Home, the book, how the reciprocations he got. All the different disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Indra Maharaj has amazing stories. My Guru Maharaj has amazing stories. So Prabhupada had very different relationship with different people. With Mother Yamuna, he was always soft. No chastisement. With certain other devotees, heavy chastisement. Right? With heavy love. So Prabhupada knew exactly how to deal with who in what manner. So this is something to learn. It's not one size fits all. See, today in ISKCON, a lot of times I see we are following what was relevant in 1965. It's still going on the same way. It doesn't have to. We have to evolve. And that is one of the roles I play within ISKCON, is I help ISKCON with branding and marketing in European countries as well as North America. Because social media is where everybody is. Right? The head is stuck inside the phone. So back in the days, if you would be like, saffron-clad monks dancing and chanting on the street, that was enough to get people's attention. Look at me, look at me. It was a bright thing. I remember in my college, my spiritual master is 6 feet 2 inches tall. A very tall, saffron-clad monk walking into campus. And not a single head is turning. I was looking around, I'm like, he's a pure devotee walking by. At least look at him, you'll be benefited. Nobody is looking. On their earphones, on their phones. I'm like, we really need to do something. We have to get inside that phone. And what happened, my Guru Maharaj was doing a program at my university. I'm kind of deviating from the topic a little bit for relevancy. And Maharaj told, he asked me, so I just came back from India, and Maharaj said, how many people are coming for the program? I said, Maharaj, maybe 20 people. He said, why so less? He said, I didn't have time to promote this. I used to put flyers all over campus. I said, I had no time to promote this. Maharaj said, okay, no worries. And then people started coming in. There were no chairs left in the room, 70, 80 people. There were chairs lined out. We had to get other classroom chairs. And when leaving, Maharaj said, what happened? You said 20 people. I said, Maharaj, $5 on Facebook ads. He's like, Facebook works. I'm like, it seems it works. Right? And that was the first time we ever tried Facebook ads in ISKCON. And today, we use social media pretty well, and mostly Indian temples. A lot of them are raising money and donations and everything. But that was the first time it actually worked, and I started using that more and more, and we started getting targeted seekers to Krishna consciousness. So it's very important that, and when I was doing that, by the way, somebody walked up to me and said, iPhone, so much Maya. Facebook, so much Maya. And I had like 5 different apps. One app was getting all the phone calls of ISKCON Chicago Temple. One app was managing all the donations. Another app was swiping credit cards. Another app was looking at all the emails that goes when they open the email, all the data and everything. I was like, this phone is doing more service than one individual devotee can do. And he's saying this is filled with Maya? And that is the mentality we have been stuck in for a very long time. Anything anybody wants to do out of the ordinary, oh, he's in Maya. Right? And that was how I was seen. I was doing entrepreneurship. And all the devotees in the temple would be like, oh, there he comes, sense gratified. And I would tell my mentor, I'm like, should I leave business? It's like, no, be the best entrepreneur you can be. Hire devotees, create an example that devotees can also be entrepreneurs. I'm like, thank you very much, we'll do that. And that was Prabhupada's mood always. When George Harrison wanted to join the Brahmacharya ashram, Prabhupada said, what will you do in the Brahmacharya ashram? Clean pots? Go sing on the stage and make people aware of Hare Krishna movement, right? So they'll chant Hare Krishna, millions and millions of people will chant because of you. You belong on stage. And that's what he did. And I've seen personally the people reading George Harrison's biography and joining ISKCON. literally Googling Hare Krishna, who are these people, temple, I want to know about Hare Krishna philosophy because I love George Harrison. I've been to his house also. His house also is given to ISKCON, right? In Bhaktivedanta manner. And there were devotees who were showcasing how they have made that whole house, transformed it. So there's a garden outside the temple. The garden is for chanting, and the Shikshashtakam verses have been made into stones, knowledge from the verses. As you chant, you're reminded of various verses of Shikshashtakam. So you're in the mood. Everything is so devotionalized. Even after passing away, he is contributing to the Hare Krishna movement. Ambarish Prabhu, with his legacy, with his, financial help and everything, he is contributing to ISKCON. So there are different devotees serving in different ways. There are devotees who are doctors, there are devotees who are professors, there are devotees who are contributing in their own way. It doesn't have to be that either you do book distribution, or you can sing very well, kirtan, or else you're not a devotee. We all are different. ISKCON now is very different. 96% of ISKCON is not monks. Prabhupada's time, 95% was monks. 5% grihasthas, the grihasthas, the fallen souls. Today is very different. So we have to evolve accordingly. ISKCON is mature. Prabhupada needed brahmacharis. I hope you don't mind me, going into the direction. Prabhupada needed sannyasis and brahmacharis to spread the movement very, very quickly. He knew he didn't have time. So he needed dedicated soldiers. But today we are a mature movement, mature enough. A lot of maturity going through. But mature enough, where people from all sorts of life need to appreciate Krishna consciousness. And that is the goal of people like myself. I have access to places where somebody in saffron clad might not have access to. Because, you're religious. But I'm a spy of Krishna, nobody knows. When I especially cover up my country mala, nobody knows. So I have access to different deep levels where Krishna consciousness might not reach so easily. And that's our role. In our offices, in our doctors' clinics, in government sectors, in research institutes, in universities, wherever we can, we have to proliferate. In a war, what is the biggest weapon? Yeah, espionage, spies. A spy can end a war or start a war. It's not the missiles, it's the inside information that we need. And with that, like in Bengal, there was a guy named Mir Jafar. He basically was a spy for the British to the Muslim ruler. And the Muslim ruler would have won, but he told all the secrets how to destroy him. So the British came and destroyed that king, and after Mir Jafar thought he would become the next king, they killed him also. Or put him in prison, I forget. But the point is, spies are the best ways, and we are spies of Krishna. That's how we should see ourselves, right? Go wherever, don't break the regulative principles. But whatever profession you take in, have the mindset. Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, Krishna says, one who shares his knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is the dearest devotee to me. There's nobody more dear to me than that person. And that is our role. Now, how do you share that? Do you have to tell everyone, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna? Not necessarily. We share it with our example. When people appreciate us. Oh wow, how are you so calm in such a stressful situation? Well, it's because of my spiritual practices. Oh, what are your spiritual practices? Well, I eat karma-free food. I wake up early in the morning. I meditate 2 hours a day. And I, have a life of compassion, gratitude. It's Krishna consciousness. It's just in different words. Who can not appreciate that? Even an atheist would be able to appreciate that. Oh, that is nice. What you're doing is wonderful. That's our goal. Our goal is not to say women are less intelligent. Mayavadis are bad and everybody else is bad and we are the only good people out here. Prabhupada did his part. He gave us the knowledge as it is. But our role is to be relatable, to bring everybody to the folds of Krishna. There will be core devotees like yourselves who will be chanting 16 rounds, morning programs and everything. Take initiation. And then there will be influencers outside ISKCON who would say ISKCON is a nice organization. The Hare Krishnas are good people. They feed so many poor people. They are teaching meditation and yoga. They are doing this good stuff. And that brings in seekers. Oh, they are good people. Today, we are known for our temples, the Western devotees, and they ask for a lot of donation. life members, this, that, right? We run after people. That mentality has to change. Anyway, but the point is that Srila Prabhupada, we have to bring, so for me it was a big shocker coming to India, ISKCON in India, because thank God, I got the Prabhupada's flavor of ISKCON in the West. Things are simple, not too many rules and rituals. You're not bogged down by like right hand, left hand, this, that. Yeah, there are pujaris that follow the strictest of rules. But when you're a new devotee, you slowly transition into the system without putting in burden on you. There was one guy in IIT Kharagpur, this person invented a gesture control technology, and he was told you should quit your startup. This is nonsense, this is all Maya. And he negotiated all the way up to Radheshyam Prabhu apparently, and he was told, just be simple. You want to be brahmachari, just be simple, leave all that. His friends took that same company, sold it for 50 crores, and for a middle class guy that's a lot of money, and for anybody it's a lot of money, and he was in depression. I could have made that money, I could have sold that company, I could have been that. No, rather they want me to wash pots. We have made mistakes. But it's important that we don't repeat these mistakes. And the Prabhupada's way of ISKCON is to encourage, to fan the spark, see the spark, identify the spark, fan the spark, and let them be the best they can be in their direction. Prabhupada would empower people like anything. Mother Yamuna, she could sing. Prabhupada empowered her so much. Every day we open the altar, Mother Yamuna's voice is being played. He looked at Jayadvaita Maharaj. Jayadvaita Maharaj had never done anything more than open a magazine. He said, go start a magazine, Back to Godhead magazine. He said, Prabhupada, I don't know anything. Krishna will empower you. Jadurani Mataji, she was painting. Like, Prabhupada, should I take classes? Like, no, Krishna will empower you. You just keep, take my guidance and you paint these beautiful paintings. And all the Bhagavatam paintings, Bhagavad Gita paintings you see, that's Jadurani Mataji. Right? So Prabhupada would just empower people like anything, see what they're good at and empower them in that direction. And that's the eye we need to have as preachers, as devotees, that when we see a new person coming in, see where their knack is, ask the right questions, figure out what they're good at. And this is to yourself also, ask yourself the right questions. How do you want to serve Srila Prabhupada? How do you want to reciprocate with that gratitude? And then figure out what you're best at, and then get guided by your Vaishnava mentor to get services in that direction, according to your psychophysical nature, according to your gift that you have from Krishna. That's very, very important. It's not only the role of the mentor to tell you, but it's your role also to look within. How do I want to contribute to this Hare Krishna movement? How do I want to grow Lord Chaitanya's movement? Of course, it's not depending on us, it's going to grow anyway. But what role do we want to play in this? And when we do that, something amazing happens. And I'll come back to Badrinath Maharaj. In Chicago, I was on this place called Krishna House. And as Maharaj was leaving Krishna House after seeing it, he looked at all these students who were walking into Krishna House for our program. And he said, Ajita, at that time I was Avelo. He said, Avelo, Radharani has a radar. I'm like, Radharani has a radar? They're like, yeah, she has a radar. I'm like, okay. He's like, in that radar, she sees who's serving Krishna, who's preaching, who's making an effort to help those who are spreading this movement. And she tells Krishna, look, this person is serving you. Please give him your mercy. Krishna's like, are you sure? He's not very sincere. Doesn't matter. You give him your mercy. Krishna's like, fine, since you asked, here is some mercy. He said, when you preach, you get on Radharani's radar. And even if you don't deserve it, Krishna will give his mercy, because Radharani will tell Krishna, give him your mercy. So I request you that Srila Prabhupada only wanted one thing, that for the people of Kali Yuga to be happy, regardless of religion, caste, creed, skin color, anything. He wanted people to be happy. And the only way it is possible to be happy is by the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So to offer our respect to our Shiksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada, right, we have to first become perfect with this knowledge. So absorb as much of it seriously. What did Lord Chaitanya say? Anybody knows? Bharat Bhumite Janma Hoilo Jar Janma Sarthak Kori Koro Paropakar. Right? So first you become perfect with this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, make your life perfect, and then help others. Or while you're making your life perfect, help others, also become perfect. Like 4th year students helping 3rd year students, 3rd year students helping 2nd year students, like working professionals helping the students, like I'm doing, there was a time when I was a student and I was being helped by my mentor. So like that, have the mood at least, creativity, how to share Krishna consciousness in a creative way. In today's world of social media, Instagram Reels, technology, there are so many ways of spreading Krishna consciousness. This is wonderful devotee in Mumbai, Vaishnava Seva Prabhu. He has been, he started ISKCON Desire Tree, which today is called Hare Krishna TV. And he is in millions and millions of households where people who are not devotees are getting access to learn about devotional principles. Right? That's innovative preaching. And he's dedicated his life, his wealth. He drives a small little Wagoner. He's a surgeon. He makes a lot of money. But almost everything goes into Hare Krishna TV. Entirely run by him. His house where he lives, he has given it for all the editors to edit and everything. He lives in a small room and his wife has a small room and they have old cars and that's it. Right? I'm not saying you have to live like that. That's not the point here. I don't live like that. Right? It's okay to live in luxury if that's who you are. But the point is, no matter grihe thako, vane thako, sada hari bole thako. Bhakti Thakur said. Whether you stay at home or you stay in the forest or you stay in the palace, chant Krishna's holy name and make others chant Krishna's holy name. That's the goal here. Somehow or other. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. That's what Prabhupada did. That's one quality of Prabhupada he shared with Indra Maharaj. He said, I have never forgotten Krishna. Never have I ever forgotten Krishna, even as a child. From birth till now, there has never been a moment I have not remembered Krishna. Do you understand? And it's like, yes, Srila Prabhupada. That's Srila Prabhupada. He's not just a pure devotee. He's the purest of pure devotees. He's the Shakti Vesha avatar. And that's why, because by remembrance, he was always with Krishna. That's Srila Prabhupada. Even at his deathbed, when his body is a skeleton. Have you seen that video? Prabhupada leaving his body? If you have not, go on YouTube and watch it. To me, that's an inspiration. He hardly has any voice left and is translating still Bhagavatam purports. His Guru Maharaj told him, if you have some money, you should print books. And he was doing that till his last breath, till he could speak the last words. He was translating. So that's our dedication. So when we see for me, I became a devotee. Of course, there were many devotees helping me and all that. My mentor, my guru. But Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita is what made me serious. I was not like you guys. My whole four years of Krishna in college, although I was leading the preaching there, I was not chanting 16 rounds. I didn't get to 16 rounds in 4 years also. But after graduating, me and my co-founder and best friend, we started reading Lilamrita at night. And we would just cry, seeing Srila Prabhupada's struggles. Being a 70-year-old person, having 2 heart failures, kidney not working, teeth falling off, body just gone. He would sleep 2 hours a night and translate books throughout the night. Wake up in the morning lectures while doing morning walk, then Bhagavatam class, meeting and greeting people, little bit of rest, little prasadam, again strategizing how to spread the Krishna consciousness all over the world, GBC meetings. My God, how do you do that? You guys don't know what it means to be 75 years old, neither do I. But trust me, when your whole body is not functioning, even going to the bathroom is difficult, in that stage of life, spreading a worldwide movement is not easy. So when I read the Lilamrita, one thing that churned in my heart was gratitude. What I have received, what you have received here, this beautiful facility, is because of Prabhu. And Prabhu is empowered by Srila Prabhupada and his Guru Maharaj, right? So it goes back to Srila Prabhupada. When I started Krishna House, the first lecture, Bhagavatam, Prabhupada ended the lecture by saying, now that you have this facility, make the most of it and spread this Krishna consciousness movement. And I took that as an instruction for myself. I'm like, you know what? That's Prabhupada's instruction. We're going to make this into, it's like a military base. We have all the weapons, the books, the donation boxes, the different things that we have, and we'll go out on campus and we'll share this knowledge. At least expose people to Krishna consciousness. If they're interested, they can come. Krishna will do the rest of the magic. Know that Krishna is there to help you. It's not on you to get people. You just do your part. And the attractive nature of Krishna will bring people, draw people in. And all you got to do is just connect them. I've seen this happen over the last 15 years, over and over and over and over again. Lord Chaitanya's mercy is so attractive. Srila Prabhupada has given us a perfect system, the perfect modules, the perfect schedule throughout the day. You see the 7 aratis we have, right? Today in time management lessons, they talk about compartmentalizing your day. That's how you manage time. So you see in ISKCON, okay, morning program, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and then chanting period. Then we have our darshan arati, then we have a Bhagavatam class, breakfast, little rest. We get through the day, things get done, evening time, Gaur arati. So if you see a monk's life, it's compartmentalized. You know exactly what to do when, what arati is happening, what time, and accordingly the schedule is set. Right? Now for working professionals it might be a little different, but nevertheless we have a way of following that. So Srila Prabhupada also had that. You know, my spiritual master, one time he was guarding Srila Prabhupada's room as a temple commander in New York. At 8 o'clock, Srila Prabhupada's lights went off. He would rest. 10 o'clock, lights went on. Srila Prabhupada went to the washroom, came out, took out the harmonium, sang some bhajans, then turned on his dictaphone and started translating the books. Until 4 o'clock he did that. Then a little bit of rest, then morning program, morning walk, Bhagavatam class, again little rest, breakfast, like that. His day would go. It was like clockwork, and he never had jet lag. If you go abroad, you're in a different time zone. So it's like, what is day there? It's night here. You come back and when I would come back from America, I'd be like, you know, I'd be dodgy by the time it was 4 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, I'm dead. Right? Prabhupada would never have jet lags. His disciples would have jet lags. Wherever, whichever country he would go to, he would have the same schedule. How? Because time is Krishna's energy. And Prabhupada was so aligned with Krishna that time would work in different ways for him. And that's not just for Prabhupada, it's for all of us, it's applicable. Anyway, how much time do I have?
Half an hour.
Half an hour? Oh, great. So I'll tell you a story about time. You want to hear?
Yes.
This is my personal story, so I'm not telling somebody else's, so you have to believe me. My co-founder and I, because time is a big problem for all of us, right? So I'm sharing this, relatable. My co-founder and I were going to an investor meeting. It was supposed to be a very difficult meeting because investors wanted something, we wanted something, and it wasn't matching. And if we didn't do what they wanted, we probably wouldn't get the funding. It was second round of funding. So before leaving, now in America, it's not like India where you say 8 o'clock and that means 8:30. 8 o'clock means 7:45, right? So timing is very important. And we realized we had 4 rounds left before leaving home. And we both decided, no, we'll finish our rounds and then go to this meeting because we have to have that empowerment. We should finish our rounds. And there was, so 4 rounds will take half an hour. And we didn't have half an hour. We had around 20 minutes or so. And we thought we'll be late by 10 minutes, but it's okay. Let's prioritize Krishna. So we chanted, and we chanted in a normal pace, not like rushing through it. And after we finished chanting, we looked at the watch, and he and I both were speechless. We couldn't speak because it was not half an hour. It was 20 minutes. And we both had the same realization that Krishna is tinkering with time. When you prioritize Krishna, he can do miracles. Literally, he can do miracles. And we saw that. We couldn't speak for 2 minutes. I'm like, what just happened? How is that possible? And we went to the investor meeting and we got the funding also. We negotiated hard and we were empowered by Krishna. The point is, Prabhupada taught us that. He always prioritized Krishna over logic, reasoning, everything else. And for a devotee, we should understand that the things Krishna did for Arjun, right? Here is, what is Jayadratha? Here is Jayadratha, there is a son. Kill him. We were like, wow, Krishna changed the laws of nature for his devotee. Oh, that's Arjun, by the way. Pure devotee, Nitya, Siddha, this, that. For us also, I'll tell you another story. How many of your students? Quite a few, all of your students, okay, great. I was in second year and it was an engineering class that was very difficult. So, night before exam, we are looking at previous year's question papers, trying to solve them. So my friends are laughing at me because I am getting 50, 60 out of 100. And they are getting 80s, 90s. I'm like, yeah. They're going to like, Avelo, you're going to fail tomorrow. I'm like, I feel I'm going to fail tomorrow. I came to my altar, and I said, I heard from Prabhuji. I call my mentor Prabhuji. Like, I heard from Prabhuji that all knowledge, intelligence, memory comes from you apparently. Let's see tomorrow. And then I went to sleep. In the morning I woke up. In our college we used to have this academic resource center where third year students are supposed to help second year students, fourth year students help third year students, and they get paid for it. So the student who was helping the second year students, he was surrounded by like a Chakravyu of 20 students around him. I couldn't penetrate the Chakravyu. So I was like, my last hope is over. I'm not passing this exam. So I sat down dejected in a chair nearby, and comes a Pakistani guy. This guy hates me, he hates India, he hates Hindus, and he talks all the negative things you can imagine. Typical stereotypical Pakistani, right? Pakistanis are not all bad people, just so you know, but this guy was not a very nice person. And he comes and sits next to me. I'm like, what do you want? He's like, you look dejected, what happened? I'm like, why do you care? He's like, just tell me, Avelo, what happened? I'm like, I'm not going to pass this exam. I don't know how to solve these problems. They're like, oh, that, just use this formula and it will work. I'm like, what formula? And then he explained the formula to me. I'm like, things started falling in place. I went to the exam. I got a 94 out of 100. My friends got 80s. The Pakistani guy failed. And they all said, Avelo, you cheated. I said, yes, I cheated. Krishna consciousness is cheating. That's how it works. So Krishna is by your side, he's on your chariot. You're cheating the entire process. You're cheating Maya. That's what you're cheating. You're cheating material energy. And so it's accessible to all of us. That's what Prabhupada has done. Where does Bhakti come from? Where does Bhakti come from? How do you get Bhakti? Come on, any brave soul? Mercy of Guru, okay? My mercy of Guru and Krishna. Only Guru and Krishna? Who else? Where does Bhakti come from? Bhakti comes from Bhaktas. So one who has Krishna can give you Krishna. To the degree they have Krishna, to that degree they can give Krishna. Bhakti comes from Bhakta, not by karma, not by any good thing you did. It's causeless mercy. So, where was I? I had a train of thought. Huh? College. 94. Anyway, I lost the track of thought. Anyway, so Bhakti comes from Bhakta, and so Srila Prabhupada has empowered many bhaktas who have empowered many bhaktas, and it's our hack in Krishna consciousness. Oh yeah, I was saying that Krishna can empower anyone. We have access to this. Yes, we have access to this miracles because we have received. That's what Prabhupada has given us. He has given us Krishna because he has Krishna. And he has given us Krishna through his disciples and their servants. That's how we have access to Krishna. Now that we have Krishna, we are chanting Krishna's name. It is not possible to chant Krishna's name unless we are empowered. Right? I have actually seen this. I had heard that Mayavadis cannot chant Krishna. I've actually seen this. Those who are really offensive, they can't chant Krishna's name. So we are chanting Krishna's name means we are somehow empowered. So Prabhupada has made that access available to us. So what was available to Arjun on that chariot is accessible to us. That same Krishna, Govinda, is accessible to us through the purports of Srila Prabhupada, through his explanations, through his books, through the lectures you hear from Prabhupada's disciples and their servants. Right? So make the most of it. And see this as it says in Bhagavatam, Shukha Mukha. Right? So when a fruit, Srimad Bhagavatam is described as Galitam Phalam, the ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. Any tree, the treasure is the fruit. So Galitam Phalam means the most, ripened fruit. So the ripened fruit of that Vedic tree is Srimad Bhagavatam. And it says when it's touched by the beak of a parrot, it's even sweeter. So Prabhupada's purports are like that. It's touched by the beak of Srila Prabhupada. Theoretically you take it that way, but it's been made sweeter. And then Prabhupada disciples take that, their insights they put into it, it becomes even more sweeter, right? So we have access to this sweetness in a very easy form. We have our phones, we have YouTube, we can hear and don't hear from everyone and everywhere. Please have one person you listen to, because you get confused. But the point is, we have easy way of hearing. So hearing and chanting is what Prabhupada gifted us. He said, if you want to grow in Krishna consciousness, you need devotee association and hearing and chanting. Don't give this up. So today you're students, tomorrow you'll get a job. But as you go, you get busier and busier, you get married, you have kids, even more busier. Don't give up these two things, hearing and chanting. Keep listening Krishna Katha, keep chanting Krishna's name, no matter in what situation. You know about the devotees in Russia? The Russia, when they were being heckled by the government back in the days, there was a particular devotee. Many devotees were tortured during the Gorbachev regime and all that, and then they were cleared off also. But there was at one point, one devotee, he wanted to chant even in that situation. So they would give breads. He would take the breads and put some water into it and make a ball out of it, and 4 balls, and he could easily hide it and put a string through it and somehow chant with those 4. Right? Even in prison, while being tortured, he was chanting. So that was the dedication. That's why we see outside India, Russia is the biggest movement, because the dedication of these people were so strong. So let's carry this gratitude in our heart that we are learning about Srila Prabhupada's hardcore service to his Guru and to this movement, so that us, who he didn't even see, right? We are born after Srila Prabhupada passed away, but he left us this treasure of Krishna consciousness. So let's have the gratitude that, you know what we have received today, we are sitting under a nice facility, we have nice devotees, we have nice altar, nice prasadam. Prabhupada's disciples didn't have all that luxury, but we have been given that luxury by this system. So we should reciprocate back. When Prabhupada's disciples were starting this movement, Mother Lakshmani Mati was telling me that we would go behind grocery stores where they throw away all the vegetables that are not good enough. They would take the rotten vegetables, cut out the rotten part and use the better part. That's how they would cook. And one day they would have good meal, Sunday feast. And 6 days a week they would be struggling that way. Chandramouli Maharaj told us in New Vrindavan, it was so cold that water, there was a stream outside New Vrindavan, the water would become ice. All the brahmacharis at 3 o'clock at night, they would line up, break the ice, put a milk gallon inside, and that's the water they would bathe with. Ice cold water. And that's all they had. That's how they developed this movement. It's not just Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada did so much struggle, but his disciples also did. And that's why we are where we are. So we are rich kids. But let's not be spoiled rich kids. That happens, right? When father is Ambani, grandfather is also, big deal at this, that. The kids become a little spoiled. They say any business family, the 3rd generation screws it up. 1st generation works very hard. 2nd generation sees 1st generation working hard, so they keep on check. 3rd generation never seen any struggle in life. They're like, life is good, everything is there. But Srila Prabhupada said the 3rd generation will be the best generation, which is us. So it's our responsibility to not become spoiled rich kids. It's our responsibility to look at Srila Prabhupada's struggles, the struggles of his disciples, and dedicate our life to this movement and to make others smile. Prabhupada would say, I have made you fortunate, now you go make others fortunate. And that is a message for all of us. We have been made fortunate, and it is our duty. When we see, people are struggling, people are stuck in their material lives, people are stuck in finding happiness, but they're going for drugs, alcohol, different things where happiness is not there, but they're desperately going in the wrong direction. It is our failure. As devotees, we have failed. So take it up on ourselves that this country needs us, this world needs us. There are not too many people like us. Manushyanam sahasresu kaschita prasiddha. Of all, many people, very few are interested in Krishna consciousness. Of those, very few actually want to know Krishna. Of those, very few actually get to know Krishna. So you're the rarest of the rare jewels, and you need to create more jewels. And I request you that let Srila Prabhupada's empowerment come upon you. Have the gratitude in the heart. Be humble, be grateful, and with that, use your wonderful brains, your intelligence to figure out how to give it to the next generation. How to share this knowledge of Krishna consciousness with others and make unhappy faces into happy faces. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, by using different process in this movement, are not we manipulating Srila Prabhupada's instructions?
How? Prabhupada used dictaphone. He used the airplane. He used so much. Even computers were used. Earliest computers were used during printing of Bhagavatam and all that, right? So when whatever technology was available at his fingertips, Prabhupada allowed it to be used for sharing Krishna consciousness. So what makes you think that we are...
Actually, one devotee asked me that in the Krishna conscious movement or at the devotees are using guitar and so different instruments. And then Prabhupada have not told anyone to use that particular instrument.
That's different. So maintaining our sanctity, that is absolutely core, our purity and sanctity. So I'm with you on that. But when it comes to sharing, in Prabhupada's time, he went on TV interviews, radio interviews. I'm talking about preaching. Today we have social media. Today we have podcasts. We have Spotify. We have all these things where we need to be present. Just like the other religious movements are present. Today Buddhism is cool. Our kids are becoming Buddhists because it's cool to be Buddhist, cool to meditate, this guru and that guru. We need to be everywhere that is possible. That's what I'm talking about in terms of preaching. But when it comes to sanctifying our movement, right? Of course, in the altar we're not going to use plastic. We're going to use brass, we're going to use metallic things. With kirtans, it's nice to use kartal, mridanga and harmonium. Those are sanctifying things. But I'm talking about when it comes to instruments to share knowledge, to share this movement. The Brihad Mridanga that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talked about, the printing press back in his days was today's internet. Before that, they had to write the books. I'm talking about that, sharing the knowledge. Does it make sense? Any other questions? Yes, bro.
So when we are preaching Krishna consciousness or when we are going for book distribution, so sometimes people are saying that why you are bothering too much to us? Why you are like asking for donations? You are like getting the foreign exchange, or you are taking the corrupted money and spending it on Kirtan. So what to say about this thing?
Don't defend. Talk about the positives. Okay? Make it very simple, like Crazy Peter. I don't know about foreign exchange. I don't know about whatever things you see on social media. I don't believe the things I see on social media. I won't tell you what to do. But one thing is for sure, this is Bhagavad Gita as it is. Here is the disciplic succession coming all the way from Krishna, Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, etc. And this book has changed millions and millions of lives. Here are the people, what they say about this book. I don't know about all that stuff, but here is the Bhagavad Gita. Here is the Srimad Bhagavatam. I know this works. It has worked for me. It will work for you too. When people challenge you, it is natural for us to become defensive. Don't get defensive. Change it to positive. That's a way to win arguments. You don't answer them. You take them into your turf where you can glorify what you want to glorify. So glorify the Bhagavad Gita. Automatically, at least they will have some appreciation, something they didn't know before. Share your personal struggles and how you overcame it. Share struggles of people you know that this book has transformed. So that will let the glorification be the focus rather than defending ISKCON and arguing with them and going head to head with them. But yeah, do put a note that do you see everything you believe on social media? Ask the question, let it be, and then move on to your turf and bring them to your turf. You can't win on their turf. You have to bring them to your turf, and there you know how to glorify Krishna consciousness. Make sense? Any other questions? Yes, Prabhu. Oh, I thought you were asking something.
I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Like here in our center, so this is not for college students, it's for students students prepare for competitive exams.
Okay.
So like we don't force them to chant 16 rounds, they're chanting 4 rounds, so it's not as their thing. But still we find that students are not very much enthusiastic to hear about Krishna Katha, nor they're interested to chant. But they may waste their time on mobile phones with girlfriends, but they're not interested to chant and hear. And their major problem is time constraint according to them. So like how should we convince them, and what is the ideal way, like how to balance the preparations and the consistency?
By giving responsibility. One of the ways, at least I used to be that, so I can relate to that. When I was given the responsibility, you have to speak, you have to do this, you have to do that seva. Then I was like, oh, I'm responsible, I have to perform. So that forced me to read, that forced me to get more in this philosophy and a focus on chanting, because I knew I was not capable. I need empowerment, you know. Like when I was starting my startup, from Thursday to Sunday we would have competitions, and I was a meat eater. My co-founder was also, he's American, he was also a meat eater, but to please Krishna, so we win competitions, we would actually be vegetarian for half the week, you know. And we would win competitions left, right and center. I was like, this is working good. Well, and eventually Krishna tricked us into becoming vegetarians completely. You know, so when you give services, when you give responsibilities, A, they're getting cleansed from anartha, which is stopping them from hearing Krishna Katha. So the anartha is getting cleansed. 2, the sense of responsibility forces us to take more interest in what we are doing, makes us feel important. And rest flows from there. That's at least what I have seen. There may be many answers to that question, but that's one answer.
What made you think that you are fortunate to win Krishna consciousness?
What made me think that?
You are fortunate because of Krishna consciousness.
Sure. Before Krishna consciousness, my life, and after Krishna consciousness, it's a drastic difference. I'll tell you how.
My question was, what made you think that you are fortunate because you are coming contact with Krishna consciousness?
I'm answering that question. May I? When I compare my life, pre-Krishna consciousness and post-Krishna consciousness, it's very clear to me that something changed. Pre-Krishna consciousness, I'd won one award, you know, as a child in some poetry competition. Post-Krishna consciousness, 150 awards. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to win awards or whatever else, right? It was a drastic empowerment that I saw. My parents got separated when I was second year in college in a foreign country where it's very expensive. I was a bad student, so I couldn't get the scholarships that good students get. Impossible became possible. The university created a special scholarship fund just for me. My mentor, I was about to end my life, and my mentor told me, don't worry, Krishna's name is Madhava. You know why? I said, no. He said, because he's the husband of Madhavi. You know who's Madhavi? I said, who's Madhavi? The Madhavi is the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi. With that thought process, I went to talk to the bursar, the provost, and things just worked out in miraculous ways where my finances were taken care of. Then H1b Visa. My own startup sponsored my visa, which never happens. It's almost not legal. Almost. It's legal, almost not legal. Because you're not supposed to be the owner of the company and also have your H1b. And we got approved, and when I came to India, I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. In the visa line, I'm seeing people from Amazon, Microsoft getting rejected. I'm like, I have a startup with tiny, insignificant. 30 seconds I got approved. I couldn't even finish my sentence and they said your visa is approved. Right? So like that over and over and over and over and over and over again, miracles were happening in my life. And when I became a preacher, my mentees, they come running to me, Prabhu, this happened, and they get used to it. Miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle happening in their lives. So much reciprocation from Krishna. So it's almost, I might believe you don't exist, but for me, Krishna is definitely there because it's so real, so experiential. So for me, that's very evidence-based that I became fortunate only after coming to Krishna consciousness. Because before Krishna consciousness, I was living in misery. bullied as a child, separate, family had issues, all kinds of problems. Post Krishna consciousness, finally, I was getting support from my mentor, growing in my ambition, my goals, growing spiritually, becoming a better person, a person who is liked by others. I transformed completely. There's no doubt in my mind what this magical process can do for us.
My question was, why you think that you are fortunately in Krishna consciousness in West rather than in India?
Western countries.
You told
What is he asking exactly?
His question is that what made you think that you are fortunate that you came in contact with Krishna consciousness in West, not in India?
Oh, like that. Okay. Because, see, in India,
You can tell something about yourself, like why you went to West and like.
you told that I am fortunate that I have in Krishna consciousness in West.
I'll tell you why. Because if somebody, given my rebellious nature, right? If somebody says, why not wearing kanthi mala? Why not doing this? Why not chanting 16 rounds? I would have run away from that place. I would not have become a devotee. When I was starting Krishna consciousness, I was given so much time, freedom and leniency to slowly warm up to Krishna consciousness. In fact, when I came to Mayapur for the first time, the devotees would walk up to me like, you're not wearing kanthi mala, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, no dhoti kurta, no tilak. I was like, why are they so rigid? That doesn't work for me. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have bosses. I don't like bosses. And people are trying to boss me over. That's how India works. Hierarchies. Guru, counselor, super counselor, a lot of processes. I was not like that. And in my way, my mentor was, I'm your friend. I'm not your mentor. Don't call me a mentor. You're my younger brother. And we grew that way. So it was perfect for me in that way. And this whole thing about man, woman in the thing, like in our Chicago temple, most pujaris are women on the altar, right? Women are taking leadership roles. In fact, my mentor's wife became a temple president for a nice amount of time. Whereas in India, women should not, there's not a single, except for Mataji, there's not a single woman in our preaching programs, right? So this is very different of how we see Krishna consciousness here and how Prabhupada did it. Prabhupada had Brahmacharini ashram. There were brahmacharis and there were brahmacharinis, right? He gave Brahman initiation to women. So man, woman, not equality, but giving equal importance for them to move in Krishna consciousness. So there were many things that have changed in India, become Hinduized, that in the West, it is somewhat still how Srila Prabhupada kind of cut down the fat and made it lean, easy for people of Kali Yuga. Yes. It's not about rules and rituals, it's not about what you wear, dhoti or shirt or pan or it's about heart. Are you remembering Krishna? Are you chanting Krishna's name? Are you doing everything with a purpose to please Krishna? Prabhupada would say, my disciples have many problems, but their perfection is, they do what I say. They sincerely try to do what I instruct them to do. That's their perfection. When others would complain to Prabhupada about his disciples, they're Westerners, they don't know this, they don't know that. Yeah, they don't know a lot of things. But their perfection is they're trying to please their guru. And there is no lack of sincerity in that. That's the crux of it. But today we look at many other things, and especially the donation part, because my net worth is publicly known. That's what I get. I get treated like a life member in ISKCON. Thank you, Prabhu, for allowing me to speak. I don't get treated like a preacher or a devotee or a full-time, initiated person. I get treated like an ATM machine, and that's not nice. So that's what the difference for me, at least, has been, that in the West versus here. So I am saying I'm fortunate because I would not have become a devotee if this system was applied on me.
So, how should you change to attract elements to this?
I'm no one to say that. I'm sure devotees here are very empowered. But one thing for sure is we should not put people in a box. Everybody's different. Krishna likes variety. When you give a bouquet to Krishna, there are many different flowers, and Krishna likes all kinds. Krishna likes Lalita Sakhi also, feisty, and Krishna likes Vishaka Sakhi also. So Krishna likes variety. So we should understand people are different, and we should not put them in one ashram or one profession or, oh, be this and be that. Rather, give them Krishna consciousness, let them, fly high and be the best they can be in their field. That's the one thing I would suggest. Rather than killing people's dreams, hopes, ambitions, giving them the empowerment to make decisions, choices, but ground it strongly in Krishna, Bhakti and Sadhana. Any questions? Yeah.
Prabhupada started at the age of 70 and it hardly took any time for becoming perfect. Means he was perfect, but like the stages we go through, like Untitled and all, he never went through all those. What's your view on that?
Prabhupada, people like Prabhupada are not from this world, right? When Prabhupada coming to this planet is even described in the scriptures. In Garuda Puran, it is described, Bhakti-Vinod Thakur predicted Prabhupada would come. Prabhupada is not just one conditioned soul who has to go through anartha nivritti and all that. He was sent directly by Krishna in Kali Yuga at this time to spread this movement worldwide. Look at the timing, the hippie movement, airplanes, technology just coming up. And that's when Prabhupada started this movement and used all of that to spread this all over the world. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur predicted it. That, when his first disciple he sent, for 3 times they failed. He said, and Prabhupada was in the audience. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was on the stage. He looked around, scanned the audience, and he looked at Prabhupada's eyes. And he pointed out, he said, my next disciple who goes to the West will bring back the whole world to Mayapur. It was predicted, it was known Prabhupada was a very empowered soul. So he didn't go through anartha nivritti and all that. He never forgot Krishna. He was always empowered.
His question is that, but we are going through anartha nivritti. So, like we are going through, like we are slipping and falling every time. Then what we can do to contribute that?
Is that what you're asking? Be in the process. Don't leave the process. Be in the process. Eat prasadam, have devotee association, get Vaishnava guidance, study the scriptures, chant Hare Krishna. Be in the process. Eventually it will all go away. Just don't give up the process. Maya's biggest weapon is to pull you out. You have a feeding tube. When you're dying, tube is taken away, you die. So somebody is feeding you Krishna consciousness. So make sure that relationship with the person giving you Krishna consciousness, your mentor, your guru, that is very strong. And you invest in that relationship and you do all the things, bhajana kriya aspect of it. And slowly bhajana kriya will take you across anartha nivritti. And you have nishtha, ruchi and everything else. Just stay in the process. Again, Badrinath Maharaj's statement, when he heard I got initiated, he said, welcome to ISKCON, the boat of ISKCON. Just stay in the boat. That's all. Just stay in the boat and you'll go back home, back to Godhead. Like, Haribol. That's all. Stay in the boat of ISKCON. You'll go back home, back to God. Okay? Yes.
Why should we only chant 16 rounds, why not 2 rounds?
Actually, you should be chanting 64 rounds. That's what Lord Chaitanya wanted. When Srila Prabhupada was sitting in an audience like this, he said you should chant 64 rounds. He said, Prabhupada, too much. 8 hours a day would be crazy. We won't be able to do it. Prabhupada said, okay, 30 rounds. He said, Prabhupada, too much, 4 hours a day. How will we manage our family, this, that? He said, fine, 16 rounds, no less. So that was a concession Srila Prabhupada did as empowered Acharya. He has that ability and he gave us that. So why not 2 rounds? Because that's not recommended by the doctor. We go to a doctor, you get medicine. Doctor says this medicine 3 times a day for the next 3 days. You don't say why not once a day. So this is the medicine you need. So the medicine recommended for Kali Yuga, 16 rounds. And somebody came to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, 16 rounds is also difficult. He said, hold on to my dhoti. I have backdoor keys to Krishna. So there's hope for the hopeless. I'm not saying you're hopeless, or I'm definitely hopeless, but Prabhupada has keys to the back door. So somehow or other, try your best. Krishna will do the rest. Yes, Prabhu, you had a question? Okay. Any other questions? Anything else? Yes, Prabhu.
Now social scenario, there are some even kind of thing like feminism. So what should be the devotee stand on this?
We are experts on these things, aren't we?
Like
We're not this body, we are spirit soul.
But with the present scenario, how can we match the power?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just joking when I say that. So, I was actually forced into a feminism debate at IIT Kharagpur. I went to speak on entrepreneurship. There was a panel on feminism, and they said, "Sir, you have to speak." And like, you won't like what I speak, but the audience will like it. It's like, "Sir, you speak, please." I said, "Okay, fine." And so they were talking about this women getting 20% reservation, this, that. I said, if man and woman are equal, by giving reservation, you're actually proving that women are less intelligent than man. Don't give reservation. Audience loved it. The feminists on the stage were like not happy about it. Right? Now, the point is, we are not equal. In fact, you and I are also not equal. We are different people. We are all unique in our own ways. Right? Now, when we say feminism, what we are saying is women are more empowered than men. A patriarchal society, the goal is men are more empowered than women. Both are extremes. The Vedic, now what do you do about people who are LGBTQ, for example? Where do they fall in? So the point is, we are not this body, we are spirit soul, in the sense that there is equality on the soul level. Sometimes when Mataji one time came to Prabhupada and said, "Prabhupada, these sannyasis are saying that we are less intelligent, we are this and we are this and we are that." And Prabhupada said, "Is it true, Prabhupada?" He said, "If you think you're a woman, it might be true. If you think you're spirit soul, it's not true." So, no, you can't say that to a feminist. So to a feminist, what it is, look on the altar. There's Krishna with Radha. Male version of God and female version of God. To Westerner, I explain sometimes like that. It's a male version of God, it's a female version. Oh, there's a female version of God. Yes. Right? So there's equality right there. Look at Radha Madhav, Ashtasakis. They're all empowered. Lord Chaitanya's entourage, all these personalities, Ashtasakis become such great personalities, great scholars. We have Nityananda Prabhu's wife, who was a spiritual master of entire Bengal, Orissa and Vrindavan. She was initiating disciples. We have amazing women. Prabhupada's own sister, she was such a respected personality in the Hare Krishna movement. So women have always been given a very, very high position in the Vedic system. So we are, on the bodily level, may make distinctions like toilets. Men's toilet, women's toilet. Of course, there are certain things that are biologically different between us. But there's equality on the soul level. And that's what Krishna consciousness teaches us. So there's equality. But saying one is better than other is actually racist in one sense. Gender biased. Either way is gender biased. Because you're saying everybody has to fit in that box. And that's not true. Nobody is equal. Everybody is unique, everybody is different. So unity and diversity. We should accept diversity. If you say one gender is better than the other, that is actually gender biased, and it is it's politically incorrect, to be honest.
And what about gender parity?
Gender?
Parity.
What about it? Like specifically asking. What are you asking?
Actually, the equality that which are proving in this way, that is it right in the sense of devotee?
At the soul level, does Krishna see a difference? A Mataji chanting Hare Krishna and a Prabhu chanting Hare Krishna and a person from LGBTQ community chanting Hare Krishna, does Krishna see a difference? An old person, a young child, Krishna sees a difference? So why are we distinguishing? We are saying we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and all we see is the body. Prabhupada saw crazy Peter, he saw the soul. He saw Ambarish Prabhu, he saw the soul also there. So treat people like temples of God. Riddhish Arjuna Tishtati. When you go in front of a temple, you bow your head. Every human being has God inside. Every human being is a temple of God. So we respect all. Even the dogs, even the cats, even the trees, even the mosquitoes, ants. So what about feminism? No gender parity, species parity, all living beings. There's no philosophy more inclusive than the Vedic philosophy. Does it answer your question? Okay. Yes.
What about even he wants to ask you,
Huh. Huh? I don't bite. Hare Krishna. I heard startup journey, Krishna consciousness, and then what did he say?
It will inspire all the students.
Ah.
Their journey.
How it began to start up the Krishna consciousness and
How they went hand in hand. So, like I said, initially the initial money we got was by winning competitions, and me and my co-founder was an atheist at the time. Now he is running ISKCON Chicago. He was the atheist at the time, and I was Mayavadi, coming from Ramakrishna Mission background and all that, and we were both kind of learning Krishna consciousness, doing our startup, and kind of figuring things out, being 19-year-old kids. Krishna consciousness evolved us as human beings. It gave us empowerment. I'll tell you a little, some examples that will help you understand. So as we are launching our business, so we got funded and everything. As we are launching our business, our Macedonian firm that was doing our software cheated us. They said, give us $10,000 or else we won't release the code. We gave them $10,000. They didn't release the code. We got humiliated in front of the entire community. I still remember my co-founder telling me, well, the whole Chicago community is going to think we are stupid. They're not going to recognize us after this. It's going to be very, very ugly. But we can count on Krishna, Guru, and our mentor. Nothing will change for them. Because they don't see us for our success, they see us for who we are. Spirit souls, part of Krishna. That was actually true. For the next 3 months, we would go to these networking events and people would just see through us like we don't exist. Before that, we were celebrities. After this failure, people would be like, hi, hello, like we don't exist. You just go here and there. But my mentor, nothing changed. My guru, nothing changed. And that was our strength. And with that, in 3 months, we relaunched, revamped, and got back into status. Again, back in the news and media and this and that, and everybody again was like, hello sir, how are you doing? And we knew who our real friends were. Right? So like that, an entrepreneurial journey has ups and downs. There was a time when I had only 30 cents in my account. It's like 20 rupees or something. Right? That was it. That's all I had. Then I sold prasadam, cheese biscuits to survive. And seeing how people react, making 600% profit, at the same time giving people Krishna consciousness and learning marketing, packaging, marketing and all that. And today in ISKCON, that's my role. I'm helping temples with marketing, fundraising, branding. No one taught me. I never went to school for that. I teach at IIMs in India, 3 IIMs, 8 IITs, 2 US universities. Marketing I learned by selling Krishna prasadam, by starting Krishna lunch. So I was using my entrepreneurial skills to create projects for ISKCON. Today, Krishna Lunch is the biggest revenue source for ISKCON Chicago, feeding thousands of people every week. Right? So like that, my Krishna conscious journey and entrepreneurial journey both fed into each other. I use my entrepreneurial skills to creatively preach and create projects, Krishna House, Krishna Talk, Krishna Lunch. And my Krishna consciousness went into my entrepreneurship in terms of management, managing the right people, recruiting the right people, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, who gets motivated by what, right? Understanding, different people in their different ways, controlling anger. Being a 21-year-old millionaire, it gets to your head. Success really kills you at an early age. And I would be very arrogant. But Krishna consciousness taught me, calm down, chant Hare Krishna, come back and respond. I would write to people in harsh ways, then react, oh my God, and apologize the whole day. But chapter 2 Bhagavad Gita taught me the 8-step process of anger control. Right? So like that, Krishna consciousness helped me become successful at a young age and stay successful. Many people become successful and they fall down because of the arrogance. But somehow it has helped me stay in touch. Money kills us a lot of times. We be like, I'll do this, do that, do that. Having Vaishnava guidance helped me how to preserve money, how to utilize money. I was told, the money is not yours, it's Krishna's. I'll end with this story. We're done with the time? Yeah. This last story. So as I came back to India and a little bit of fame was happening on social media. So my mentor monitors me on social media. So he was seeing that more and more people connecting with me, and he told me, Ajita, now something is going to happen to you. All this fame, you're going to start thinking it's because of you and how awesome you are. So I want you to remember this story. And he told me a story which was very helpful. He said there was a donkey in a village, and every day the deities would go around do Rath Yatra in the village. And one day the dhobi, whose donkey was very old, he told the temple people that, can you please have my donkey carry the deities one day? I said, sure, we'll do that. So they dressed up the donkey, with flowers and silk cloth and everything, put Radha Krishna on the donkey, and the donkey was going around town doing Rath Yatra, and all the people were falling in front of the donkey, is thinking, wow, till yesterday they were kicking me, today they're falling at my feet. And by the time it was evening, he was thinking, I must have become somebody very important. This is very nice, right? And then Radha Krishna was taken off, they on the altar, all the silk cloth taken. Next morning again he's getting kicked. He's like, what happened? Yesterday you were worshipping me, you're paying obeisances to me, today you're kicking me? Like, it was not you, it was Radha and Krishna on you. That's what people were offering the respects to. So my mentor told me, you're the donkey. Because you're chanting Hare Krishna and you're in Krishna consciousness, somehow Krishna has empowered you. The moment you start thinking it's you, and you forget Krishna consciousness and start getting attached to this fame, name, game, you're that donkey getting kicked again. And I remembered my life before Krishna consciousness. I'm like, I don't want that life. So that's the difference. And that's something to very carefully, nurture and preserve within our hearts. The humility to be in Krishna consciousness is to be humble, to be respectful, to take Vaishnava guidance and take resource of all that Prabhupada has given us. And thereby we can be whoever we want to be. Doctor, politician, IS officer, entrepreneur, whatever you want to be. But it's important that we take advantage of the resources, strengthen ourselves, stay grounded. When you stay grounded, you can do anything. When you're intoxicated with pride, you can't do anything. You're debilitated. All these big dictators, Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, they thought they were invincible, and that's why they died. But those who are humble people, Navin Patnaik has been here for how many years? 25 years he's winning. Seems like a humble guy. Somehow he's maintaining himself. Doesn't create too much chaos. Anyway, I'm not getting into a political conversation here, sorry. Anything else? All good? Yes, bro.
I am explaining about Krishna consciousness to one of my friends and requesting him to...
One of your?
One of my friends.
A friend, okay.
And requesting him to chant the holy name and read Bhagavad Gita. But he's saying me that I have bhakti and respect for Krishna, but I don't have to show them. I have complete faith in God, but I don't need to show them. Maybe one is one of my friends, but I will do.
You don't do anything, you be a good friend. You give him prasadam. You set a good example of your character, and by your association, by your friendship, your friend will also become a devotee. That's what has happened to many of my friends. I don't force them, I don't tell them to chant. They see me happy even in stressful situations. They're like, how do you do it? In Krishna consciousness. They see me doing something else. How do you do it? Krishna consciousness. What is this Krishna consciousness? You want to start? You want to know? Yeah. They only ask. I also want to try it out. Let me see what happens. Right? So be a good friend. I'll tell you a nice story. There used to be this guy, he was not an atheist, but he had this kind of mentality. And he would say, I don't want to hear from human beings about God. I want to hear about God from God directly. So he would come to our Philosophy Fridays, Krishna Talks, He would come to Krishna Talks. He would sit right in front. And he would sit in this yoga posture, close his eyes, and pretend not to hear from the speaker who's speaking, whether it's me or somebody else. For 2 years of his graduate studies, he did that. He said, I'm not a vegetarian, I'll never be. I eat anything that moves. I said, just don't eat anything that moves here. In this house, eat only prasadam. Is that okay with you? That's okay with me. Fine. So 2 years went away, he kept on coming, we would feed him, we would take care of him nicely and all that. Be good friend to him. Then he got a job. He got a job at a place where there is no public transportation. The only way you could do is drive a car. And he didn't know how to drive, didn't have a license. He said, sir, in this situation, I don't have any other option. I have my wife in India and kids. I have to take care of them. I have no money. I need to have this job. And for this job, I need to have license. And I don't know how. I said, I'll teach you. I'll get you the license, no problem. So I taught him how to drive. I got him the license. And when he got the license, on the way back, he's calling his wife, who's Muslim. He's saying, this Prabhuji, I ignored him for the last 2 years. I just made sure any way I could insult him, I would. I just wouldn't take Krishna consciousness. But when my need came, this is the person who helped me the most. So from today onwards, I want to make sure I dedicate my life to this person. And whatever he says, I'll do. If he tells me to chant, I'll chant. If he tells me to become vegetarian, I'll become vegetarian. That's how lives get transformed. It takes investment. It takes agenda-less investment. Not like, I am investing in you so you become Krishna conscious. No. I've received mercy and love. I want to give it to you just because. Causeless mercy. Rest will happen. If it has to happen, it will happen. Don't force anyone.
Maybe once you are sharing your experience of preaching in China, so you can just very inspired.
Sure. So Hong Kong, we have a temple, but China, given the government and everything, it is not allowed for us to have open preaching programs. Even our Bhagavad Gita looks like a water in an ocean, kind of a look. There is no Krishna, there is nothing. It is Bhagavad Gita as it is, but they try to hide as much as possible. So I was in China and I told my Guru Maharaj that, Maharaj, I'm going there, there's no Govindas, so I don't know how I'll manage food. Is it okay if I go to a restaurant and offer the food on my iPad to Krishna? Maharaj said, I'll connect you with somebody. So he called the GBC of China and he got me a person who was my age. I was 23 at the time. He was also 23 years old. And he was 6 months into Krishna consciousness. I was 4 years into Krishna consciousness, 4 or 5 years into Krishna consciousness. And this guy was so serious, so sincere. He would not speak a word in English. At that time, Google Translate was also not very good. So we would try to talk to each other using Google Translate. We would not understand. He would cook every day for me at his home. He worked at a factory. So I was making these necklaces, smart necklaces in the factory. So he would walk 45 minutes from his home to my hotel, bring me prasadam, make sure I have prasadam. Then in the evening again, he do that. Before his work, he would get me prasadam. After his work, he would get me prasadam. We would chant Hare Krishna together for 10-15 minutes. He would hug me, I would hug him. He would go away and I would go to my thing. Then last day, I was in China, in Shenzhen. He brought in the local devotees. And it was Kartik month. And the local devotees, they brought in little baby Krishna. And they wanted to know how Krishna consciousness is in the West. So I showed him some pictures that we're doing Harinam Sankirtan on the street, book distribution. They're like, you're allowed to go on the street and chant Krishna's name? I'm like, yes. I'm like, wow. And I realized how privileged we are that we have this opportunity, this freedom that they don't have. And when we started doing Damodar Ashtakam in my hotel room, because they don't have a temple, my hotel room became the temple for the evening. There was a person who came in and opened the door. I'm here to clean the room. It's basically a spy, trying to see if we're doing religious activities, right? So that's the kind of fearful situation they're in. And I was amazed. After that, this Mataji was giving lecture, and her Sanskrit was impeccable. She was speaking Mandarin, which I couldn't understand anything. And at that time, I was like, I knew nothing about Sanskrit. I couldn't remember any verses. I had not read the whole Gita. I was not chanting 16 hours. I'm like, what am I doing in life? These Chinese people, they can't understand English even, and they're speaking Sanskrit like it's no tomorrow. They're preaching, they're doing Damodar Ashtakam, they're hiding and chanting. They're doing so much. I have so much freedom and I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, that's an inspiration. I need to take Krishna consciousness seriously. And that's the beauty of it. Any country you go to, it's always different in different countries. But yeah, very inspiring to see how. And they told me that every city in China has 30 to 40 devotees and is growing rapidly. So all glories to them. Good? Anything else? Any last burning question anybody has? Feeling shy? Okay, awesome. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.